Give it a few seconds for the editors. All right, welcome to another episode of welcome to the Transform Sales podcast. We are recording today another episode of the Sales Software Review series, and I'm here today with Craig. Craig, how you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks, Eddie.
Awesome. Craig, we want to learn more about your product, SalesNexus. So I guess I already spoiled the first question. Tell us a little bit about SalesNexus. What does it do? What is it?
SalesNexus is a CRM and marketing automation platform that helps B2B businesses grow their sales faster.
Fantastic. Now you mentioned B2B businesses. Tell me a little bit more. Let's double click on that and learn about your ideal customer for SalesNexus CRM.
Yeah, we're a great fit for B2B sales teams, in the range of $5 million to $50 million companies, where typically they're not going to have a huge IT or marketing staff. The sales team really drives the growth of the company. And SalesNexus makes it easy for the salespeople to do what they need to do with customers, and the technology automates everything else.
Are there any sort of platforms that they are typically using before they jump into SalesNexus? If you can maybe share some of those names so someone in the audience can identify whether they could be a good fit for SalesNexus?
Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of times people will try things like Pipeline Deals or Pipeliner or even HubSpot sometimes. Mm-hmm. And they find that it's maybe an easy first step, but it doesn't allow them to customize the tool around their unique way of going to market. And so they sort of outgrow it. And so we're a great next step for that kind of customer.
Fantastic. Now, a lot of people know about CRMs, but in general, what does SalesNexus help people do that they couldn't do before they had your software?
Really, the primary thing is we're going to help any business get their salespeople connected with a lot more prospects. So the salespeople are going to spend more time talking to qualified prospects instead of researching, instead of writing emails and all the other busy work that salespeople get bogged down in.
Fantastic. And if that is the case, how should your users measure the success of SalesNexus, of implementing SalesNexus?
Their sales should go up. That's what everybody wants, and that's definitely what we try to hold ourselves accountable to.
Perfect. So if you map out your sales process in the CRM and you are executing it consistently, then using SalesNexus should help you almost like make or have more repeatable and scalable outcomes, because you know what are the activities that you're doing. You're measuring the activities. You know what's converting, what's not, what's the next step, etc. So I guess that pretty much helps grow revenue, of course. So let's go ahead and jump into the next section, which is going to be the screen share. If you could please share a little bit more of SalesNexus and walk us through a demo.
Yeah, let's see. Is it sharing now? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir. There we are.
Yeah. So basically, SalesNexus is designed so that the customer can lay it out the way they want. So everything that they care about in their business is right here front and center, and everything else is out of the way. So we can keep it simple for the sales rep. So earlier today, I was talking to a customer that sells different kinds of coatings for flooring and other applications, including paint for vehicles and things like that. And so when they're talking to a customer on the phone, they need to know things like, what's the square footage of the facility, and what kind of flooring do you have, and how big is your fleet of trucks or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So what they want to do is lay it out so the salesperson can have the phone in one hand and their mouse in the other, and they're just entering the answers to all of those questions. So in that way, this kind of becomes the sales script, and it's just easy for the sales rep to fill it out. And then over here, you can have as many additional sort of pages of additional information as you need, right? And so you can kind of organize the sales process in that way. When I have a new prospect, I fill out that side of the screen. And then when I get them to, qualified opportunity stage, then I come over here and collect additional information, right? But the important thing is the sales rep's not jumping around through 3 or 4 different steps and screens and having to go back and forth. They're on one page, one customer, and every one of these little data items can then automate and trigger a new follow-up campaign, drip marketing sequence, a reminder to call them in 3 weeks, the text messages, whatever.
Awesome. So we have a layout that is almost like a pilot checklist. As you mentioned, this mirrors the conversation and the items that the sales rep should talk or discuss with the prospect. They document it. There's workflows in the back end that can trigger certain activities also for prospecting, maybe customer success even, because I noticed that you mentioned there's different sets of, let's say, inputs or data or qualifying criteria that can be injected into the system. So some of it could be for prospecting, for selling, for the use case, for the orders, for the logistics, distribution of purchases that they've made. Again, all different customized properties on the contact or the company. If they wanted to save custom notes or, let's say, open text notes, where would they do that?
Sure. Yeah. First of all, over here on the right, I have a notes tab. And so everything that I do with this customer will automatically be recorded there, right? But if I just want to put in some notes, I just hit the little note button and that goes in there. And when I log a call, that also, notes about that call will go into the system and so on, right?
Fantastic.
And then one other thing I'll mention while I'm here is we are also able to enrich data right in SalesNexus, which is a new feature we added recently in the last couple of years. And it's really powerful. Customers love it. So this little green up button, if I'm on Mark's record and I don't have his phone number maybe, or I don't know what his title is, I hit the up button and this is going to enrich this record. Each customer gets like 300 credits every month to do this exactly in our system as often as they want. And you can do that for one customer or a whole list of customers. So now the sales rep might just have maybe somebody signed up on the website to download a free PDF guide or something, and all they put in was their email address. Well, now they can get their name and their phone number and call them without doing a lot of research, looking up the customer on LinkedIn or on the company website.
Fantastic. I love that use case. I could imagine this also being used if they upload a lead list and some of the information, maybe if they have some phone numbers, but they're not connecting well or the emails are bouncing, could they use this button to source alternative contact information?
Yeah, absolutely. That's part of the platform.
Beautiful.
And also about 40% of the contacts, we are able to find their mobile phone, which is really powerful. A lot of times that's the only way you're ever going to reach somebody.
That's right. Excellent. Would you say there's a specific, I don't know, industry or vertical where you have more accuracy in the data that you can source?
No, it's not really industry dependent, but the way to think about it is if they're on LinkedIn, then we have their information.
Fantastic. I think that should also give the audience a clear idea of, hey, maybe if my target audience is not in LinkedIn, then the chances of me finding additional info is lower.
Yeah, we won't have it if it's on LinkedIn. If it's not in LinkedIn, that's the fact.
Perfect. So we're taking a look right now at the view of a salesperson, let's say, running the system, running the sequences, changing or looking at a contact card. What else about the platform would you like to show us? Is there maybe a dashboard for reporting?
Sure. Yeah. So first of all, built right into the system is our marketing automation platform, right? So right here in the same system, I can do something like this. I have 3 different drip sequences, and I'll just show you one of them. So the way we like to do this is we have a drip sequence that sends an email every 7 days, as you can see over here. And then the way this works is when they're when the contact engages with the emails, clicks on them, they automatically get switched to a new campaign. So the system will automatically nurture contacts down through your funnel so that eventually you get to something like this. Let me find this interested one. So now they've clicked through at least a couple or more emails, and they're showing some pretty strong interest, right? Now, instead of just sending them emails, we're going to switch them to a campaign so that the sales rep now is getting a task to call them a few times over the next couple of weeks. But also, they're still getting emails, and now they're also getting text messages, right? So they've gotten low enough in our funnel that we're putting the full court press on them, right?
Fantastic. So you can map the sequence, right? The order of touches, the order of calls, and however you want it based on what's converting best for you. And the system will automatically send the emails, but send you custom reminders every time you need to call or send an SMS, since those happen typically outside of the platform.
Yeah. Well, the SMS is sent through the platform, so that's automated.
Got it.
But also, to your point, let me just show you. So that, what we're trying to do is make life simple for the sales rep so they can spend their time with customers, not trying to figure out who to call, right? So if I'm Mary, the salesperson, I come in the morning and here's my to-do list, right? And you can see here's Adam, who just filled out a form on my website, right? Maybe he requested a quote or filled out a contact us form, whatever. And these are new lead calls, meaning these are people that have worked their way through that funnel that we were just looking at, and now it's time for a call. And then here, Mark is just somebody, he's a past lead from maybe 6 months ago that, didn't buy, but he's been getting our automated email drip. And for whatever reason, today he clicked, right? So he's showing some interest. He's getting warm again. And so now the salesperson knows, oh, I need to call Mark today, right? And when he clicks into Mark's record, he's going to know exactly what email Mark responded to. So he knows exactly what to talk about with Mark, even though it might have been years since they spoke.
Right. They have the full log, not only the log, but also the record of conversations, previous notes. Question, Craig. Is there something that your clients need to have or to prepare before they acquire you in order to have more success? Think of a sales process mapped out, the sequence is written, a dialer, for instance. Do they need to have a specific dialer to integrate? Walk us through that, please.
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. And let's see, let me try to keep it relatively brief. What I'll say is to the dialer question specifically, you can see right here, there's a little call link next to the phone number, right?
Yeah.
So I use Ring Central. That's what we use in our business, but you can use any computer-based phone system, and SalesNexus will click the call, right? And in terms of other preparation, obviously, if you have your sales process mapped out, that's ideal, right? That's what SalesNexus is great at. If you know what you want your process to be, then SalesNexus can be customized around that without needing a whole bunch of programmers or consultants to do it for you, right?
Perfect.
That said, one of the things that we've gotten good at over the years is we can help people flesh out that sales process as well. What we found, in the 20 years that we've been doing this, is that a lot of people have a vague idea of what they want the sales process to be, but they have trouble really nailing it down, right? And so we get engaged with every new client in helping them learn to set the system up. And part of that can be helping them create, a manageable, automated sales process.
I love it. So there's a level of consultation and assistance that, if you don't mind me asking, does that come at an additional price? Because, and the reason where I'm coming from is, I've seen a lot of cases where people, as they get to a certain growth stage, they outgrow a CRM, and they typically end up with Salesforce. And one of the
Hmm.
things that they discover after paying for the licenses of Salesforce, they think, okay, so the expense is done. We just acquire Salesforce. Time to rock and roll. Well, guess what? Now it comes the implementation phase. And a lot of times they've only used one system. So they've been building it over time without realizing how much time it went into really having it running like a well-oiled machine, if it
Hmm.
even is running like a well-oiled machine. And transferring that over to Salesforce becomes a huge endeavor. Help us
Right.
learn a little bit more about how would that work, or look like with you? What type of access do they have? What's included in the basic plan, etc. In terms of implementation.
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's a huge part of the problem that most companies face, right? Um, so, two things. Number one, Salesforce, HubSpot, really most of our competitors, if you want to transfer to their platform and you say, hey, I need some help setting it up, transferring all my existing data over, training my team, whatever, they're going to farm that work out to a consultant, right? And that
Yeah.
person starts charging you by the hour like a lawyer, uh,
Yes.
and they don't have an incentive to keep the project quick and easy. They have an incentive to make it very complex and
Yeah.
expensive, right?
Yes.
Um, so we've never done that with the consultants for that very reason, because we know how important getting it right is. And we wanted to make sure our customers could take advantage of it. So we do it all internally. We have CRM migration packages. And like I mentioned earlier, kind of customization and consulting packages where a customer can give us the backup. You go into Salesforce or HubSpot or Pipeline Deals or wherever, you download the zip file that contains your entire database of everything, notes and sales opportunities and all the companies and everything. You give it to us. We go through it. We map it to SalesNexus. We load it into SalesNexus. We let you take a look at it to make sure everything's showing up in the right places and the way you want it. And then we make adjustments. And then we're going to plan a go live date where you're going to send us a new backup because you've been using your existing CRM throughout this process. And we're going to migrate it again. This way we know, this time we know exactly where everything needs to go. And then you go live in SalesNexus. So you don't miss a beat. You don't lose it. You don't have any downtime. And all your notes and histories and follow-up tasks and sales pipeline, all of that makes the transition over to SalesNexus. So we make it as seamless as it can be. And back to your question, we make it pretty affordable too, where, a typical Salesforce implementation, you're looking at 10 grand, even for something simple.
On the low side, yeah.
Yeah. With SalesNexus, our, turnkey package is $3,000.
Beautiful. I love the way that you also mentioned it's in your best interest to set them up for success from the get-go. There may be some level of recommendations, even if they've been running their process for a while. There's always some room for optimization.
Yep.
Love it.
Yeah,
Anything else you
in
would like to
fact,
share?
one little note on that, we know that works, because our customers stay with us 4 times as long as they stay with Salesforce and HubSpot, for instance.
That's a huge stat, especially. I mean, replacing a CRM is not an easy feature. It's a rip and replace type of software. But the fact that you're able to keep your clients for longer, 4 times longer than these companies, it's a huge feature in itself. Congratulations, Chris.
Yeah, we're really proud of that.
Awesome. This is the reporting dashboard.
Yeah, so I wanted to bring this up just to be sure we touched on, all that customization of the system that we talked about earlier. That also flows into the reporting. So you're not dealing with some reports that we came up with, that we think are great for you to use. You create a report that measures the things that you care about, right? So any of your custom fields can be kind of the pivot point of any of these graphs, right? You really customize these graphs from the ground up. And again, it's not something that you need a programmer to do. You don't need a consultant to do. You can do it yourself.
Fantastic. I know that reporting is an element of most CRMs where people struggle to display the right chart in the right, let's say, layout with the right data, making sure that it's accurate. There's a lot of false positives sometimes when you don't have your information clean or you're not pointing the report to the right sources, right? So I guess
Exactly.
it seems like it's an easier layout to use, but most importantly, Craig, that your team has the support, the expertise, and the background to help set this up.
Yeah, for sure.
Fantastic. Well, Craig, this has been a very thorough review. Is there anything else you would like to share with the audience today?
Well, two things. As I mentioned earlier, you can enrich your contact list in SalesNexus. And now when you start a free trial of SalesNexus, you get a free 30-day trial. You can enrich contacts unlimited during that free 30-day trial. So it's really a no-brainer to at least try SalesNexus because you're going to get a lot of free data out of the thing, right?
That's incredible. So 1 month of free service, and throughout that month of free service, you can enrich unlimited contacts for free.
That's right.
Try it, outbound them, convert them quickly, and if you love it, guess what? Maybe you're able to close a couple of deals and reinvest if you have a short sales cycle.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And then also, we didn't really get into our email marketing capabilities, but that's, of course, part of the system, really robust email designer. But what I wanted to mention is now we've built AI into it. And so if you're not sure how to write an email, we've made it super easy. All you got to do is write 2 or 3 sentences, and the system gives you awesome copy to put into your emails that are really going to get results.
I love it. Craig, please tell me that there is a rule in your AI platform that forbids it from ever writing, "I hope this email finds you well," please.
Yeah, no, so far I haven't run into it doing that to me, and I would slap it on the hand if it did.
I love it. I love it, Craig. Now, one thing I wanted to maybe double click to get more details on was also the pricing. We've mentioned throughout the session how the pricing is it's way more affordable than other systems. When it comes to the licenses, is it a per seat? Can they be transferred from one salesperson to another one halfway through the month, scaled up and down? Talk to us a little bit about that flexibility, or overall, how is the pricing model structured?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and it's a per named user subscription fee. But as you mentioned, you can transfer those user seats back and forth. You know, for instance, we have some customers in seasonal businesses, and so they have, you know, maybe 50 users named in our system, but at any given time, they might only have 20 of them active, and therefore they're paying for them, if that makes sense. So you can kind of turn them on and turn them off and move users in and out. And also related to that, one of the ways that our competitors will kind of get you on the pricing is they charge based on the size of your contact list, right?
Yes, that's another one. Yes.
So with SalesNexus, there's no limits. You could load millions of contacts into the system and it doesn't change the cost.
Beautiful. When it comes to the dialer, is that a separate cost, a monthly fee per license per minute?
No, well, it's a separate system. We don't really we just connect to whatever phone system you're using on your computer.
Oh, you use the call to feature so that it seamlessly integrates with whatever platform I have installed. So as soon as I click on that link, it's hyperlinked, it's going to pop up on my dialer. So I can use whatever I want, and it's no requirement for APIs or integrations or anything fancy. I like it.
Yeah,
and when it comes to the email feature sending, is there a limit? Is there a price? I don't think there's such a thing, or maybe on a limitation on the domains you can connect, maybe, Craig?
Well, no, that's a good question that comes up from time to time. Some people need to be able to send emails, you know, on behalf of multiple companies or brands or websites, right? And so with SalesNexus, you can set up the domain authentication and all that from, you know, unlimited domains. You have to have at least one user for each of those domains. So you can send, have an email address to send from, right? But otherwise there's no limits. And, our different editions will start at $45 a month per user and go up to $100 a month per user. And on the $45 level, you can send 5,000 emails a month per user per month. And on the higher end, you can send 20,000 per month. So in other words, if you have 10 users, that means you could send 200,000 emails every month. So generally it's more than a sales team's going to use typically. And if you need more, then we have some different options where you can purchase additional email volume.
Okay, that's incredible, Craig. Well, there you have it. If you are paying too much because you have a lot of contacts in your CRM, if you have outgrown your CRM and you're looking for something more robust, or if you just want to trial a tool that's giving you 1 month of service, unlimited contact information reveal, maybe you start loving it and you want to keep it, definitely take a look at SalesNexus in the CloudTask marketplace. Craig, any last words for the audience?
No, thanks, Eddie. This has been a lot of fun. Great questions. And, the kind of customer that would be watching your show is definitely the kind of customer that SalesNexus loves to work with. We like professional salespeople that really know how to run a sales process, because that's what SalesNexus is great at.
Love to hear that. Craig, thank you so much for your time, and I hope to catch you on the next episode.
Thanks, Eddie.
All right. Now let me give it a few seconds before I wrap it up.